There are two solutions to the problem of bad followership in Nigeria. Two solutions. But first of all, what exactly is bad followership? Bad followership is a situation whereby followers know that the leaders are corrupt, but they still decide to support and follow them in the hopes that the bad and corrupt leaders will favor them in some way by giving them some small support in terms of money or in terms of help. That is bad followership. So you agree with me, definitely, that as we have leadership problem in Nigeria, bad leadership, we also have bad followership problem. Because think about it, if our leaders that we know to be corrupt are not supported by any of the followers in any way, whether voluntarily in the hopes that they will get financial support from the leaders, or in the hopes that the corrupt leaders will pay them in their electoral positions, or whatever other reasons, if the followers do not provide support to bad leadership will soon die out. So bad leaders continue to survive and thrive in Nigeria because there is a steady flow of bad followers or bad followership that continue to support them and keep them alive. So if we're going to solve the problem of bad leadership in Nigeria, we need to also, first of all, solve the problem of bad followership. Because it is simple. If we fix bad followership, bad leadership will die a natural death. So how do we solve or fix the problem of bad followership in Nigeria? We need to do two things. One, we need to enact as a matter of urgency the free food stamp and social welfare law. We need to take the welfare of citizens out of the hands of corrupt politicians as it is right now and put it in the hands of government. The reason for this is simple. Think about it. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. If the destiny helpers, the divine connections that people hope to get when they go to pray in churches and mosques, if these divine helpers and divine connection and destiny helpers are the same corrupt politicians that we have, guess what? At the end of the day, when it is election season, the followers, the people, will dance to the tune of the same corrupt politicians. However way you think about it, you can blame the followers all you want, but unless you have been hungry before and you do not know where your next meal will come from, please do not just criticize people who sell their votes for 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira. Don't criticize people who fall victim of the Dibosebe campaign of corrupt politicians. We need to help these followers. We need to get them free from the control, the weaponized poverty control of these corrupt politicians. And the number one way to do that is to enact this free food and social welfare law. If we don't do that, we can scream all we want. We can complain all we want. At the end of the day, you will still see that these same very corrupt politicians, these very bad leaders, will find their way somehow to come back into the system and continue to be bad leaders and continue to give us the bad dividends of democracy despite our complaints, because it takes bad followers to produce bad leaders. So we need to urgently solve the problem of bad followership in Nigeria. This is very, very serious. Think about it. Lawyers have come out to campaign for Yahaya Bello, to protest for Yahaya Bello, asking the EFCC to stop prosecuting Yahaya Bello. Yahaya Bello. The same Yahaya Bello that is being alleged to have laundered, stolen 80 billion naira in a state like Kogi, where for the past 8 years under his administration, workers were paid percentage salary. Lawyers are coming out now to protest in support of Yahaya Bello. These same lawyers did not come out to protest when the workers in Kogi were being paid percentage salary for 8 years. They didn't come out. This is what you get when you have bad followership. Obviously, these lawyers are beneficiaries of the 80 billion naira that the EFCC is alleging that Yahaya Bello stole. These lawyers are not there to protest for the release of Nnamdi Kanu against the judgment of court. No. These lawyers are not there to protest against the increase in the pump price of petrol under the false pretext of removal of fuel subsidy that did not exist. They are not there to open the lies that are being told by Mele Kyari right now that subsidy was paid when subsidy was not paid. These lawyers are not there to come and protest for things that benefit the people. No, they are not. They will always find grounds to support he that pays the piper. So it looks like the strategy now for leaders, these corrupt leaders, is get into office, steal enough money to buy your way through the political parties, get into office, steal a lot more money, and when EFCC brings allegation against you, make sure you have enough money stolen to settle the police, settle the EFCC, settle the judiciary, settle lawyers, because you cannot settle judiciary without a senior advocate of Nigeria or a lawyer being the source of that settlement. So that's the strategy. And if we do not take deliberate action to fix this problem, we will just keep shouting, keep screaming, keep abusing, keep analyzing the problem. We'll just end up as expert problem analysts without getting any solutions. We need to break out of this. We cannot continue to do the same things and expect a different result. The time for us to solve the followership problem is here. And one of the two ways to solve it is to enact the Free Food and Social Welfare Law. The second way to do it is to teach people to earn their own money, to help people earn their own money, to enact the business support law, not the rubbish they are saying now that the Tinubu administration has commenced the payment of 50,000 naira to 100,000 small or nano businesses. What rubbish? That's 5 billion or 50 billion naira that has been earmarked for this program. And I can tell you that money is going into the pockets of some cronies of the Tinubu administration. So they come every other time, they give programs very beautiful name, but the corrupt system that they run does not enable the people benefit from such program. And eventually such monies end up in the pocket of their cronies. So what happens? When that money ends up in the pocket of the cronies of these corrupt leaders, more hunger is in the land, more suffering is in the land, more unemployment is in the land. So what do those that did not benefit from this corruption, what do? They begin to look for ways to become friends with these corrupt politicians or people who know these corrupt politicians. They begin to pray for God to give them their destiny helpers. Who are these corrupt politicians? They begin to pray for God to give them divine connection to the same corrupt politicians. And what happens? The corrupt politicians end up using these looted funds, this stolen money, to bait the followers. And that is why we must do these two things right now. A proper way to do this kind of program to support small businesses will be to create hubs for specific businesses. What is a small business going to do with 50,000 naira support from Tinubu? What? Is it to pay for electricity? I spend 200,000 naira on electricity every month. And I'm not even a business. In my business, we spend close to 250,000 naira with solar and generator in place. So what is a small business going to do with 50,000 naira? Is it to pay for electricity tariff? Is it to pay the salary of one staff? Obviously, the money cannot do any meaningful thing for the small business in Nigeria. That money is just going to end up as a corrupt scheme for Tinubu to enrich his cronies. What do small businesses need? They need electricity. They need office space. They need infrastructure. A small fish farmer needs water supply, needs a fish pond, and needs fingerling, and needs feed. A farmer needs farmland, needs tractor. Why not organize these small businesses into their different sectors and give them shared infrastructure instead? Gather all the fish farmer into one location and give them a central hatchling plant, or give them a central feeds processing plant, so they don't have to spend so much to buy fish feeds. Why not do that? Is that not a better way? But obviously they won't, because that will mean that Nigeria will be food self-sufficient, and the IMF and the World Bank, that are the backers of these people, will not want that. But the destiny of Nigeria is in our hands. We have to take it in our hands. And we have to do these two things to solve the problem of followership in Nigeria. Else, we are doomed to the same result that we have always got. Because you cannot do the same thing and expect a different result. We need to enact the free food stamp and social welfare law. Yes, a draft of it is in the description. And we also need to enact the business support law, designed to provide shared infrastructure to like businesses in different areas across the country, so that we can be truly self-sufficient. If we do not solve the followership problems, if we do not free the Nigerian people from the clutches, from the hold of these corrupt politicians by providing alternative sources of income, alternate sources of food to these people, if we leave the corrupt politicians in the north to continue to be the only ones that provide free akamu and free pap, free kose or free akara to the people in the north, they will continue to sell their votes for 500 naira, 1,000 naira, because they won't know any better. A hungry man is a stupid man. I'm sorry to say, a hungry man cannot think rationally. He will always be thinking in terms of where he's going to get his next meal from. So if that next meal is going to come from the same politicians, then we are doomed to the same result. The same wicked and corrupt politicians responsible for the bad leadership of Nigeria will continue to make their way back into office unless we free the people from them. And the only way to do that, or one of the two ways to do that, is to first of all enact the free food stamp and social welfare law, and then also enact the small business support law. Let us shine light into these processes, and let us indeed free the people. And then while we are at that, we can ensure that this set of corrupt politicians do not return in 2027. And to do that, we have to start our own political party right now. There's a link in the description for you to do that. Do it. Let us free Nigeria. Let us actually do something to free Nigeria. Let us stop all the mere complaining and the criticism. Let us end this syndrome of expert problem analysts of Nigeria. Let us stop it. We need to take action. And I'm calling on you. I'm calling on you to join us to do this. It is possible and we can do it.